Alright, we're back with the in-game version, and the only thing that's changed is we've replaced the MI chest with a legendary chest that gets a buff with the MI shoulders with legendary shoulders, one of the MI rings with a legendary ring that gives minus cold res, and the legendary boots that give you a chance to dodge when you get hit every so often as another layer of defense. Um, these are all like a double rare version, so it's like Glacial of Frostbite. So Glacial is a rare and Frostbite's a yellow. So these are all double rare versions of these materials. We are overcapped on every type of res, like 30% overcapped, which means we won't have to worry about res for anything. We have 3,600 offensive ability before procs, and most of the procs are negative offensive ability for the opponent. So this is, essentially we're going to crit all the time. 2,400 defensive ability, but we have minus 300 offensive ability, so it kind of balances out to a decent amount of defensive ability. And we have 2,800 armor, so almost 2,900 armor with 95% armor absorption. So it's pretty tanky with 14k HP, 26% phys res, and then we also still have mirror, of course. Plus we have Maven's Sphere, which gives us 24% damage absorption. And in our devotions, we have the extra armor from Dryad's Blessing, and also the heal from Dryad's Blessing. We have the heal from what's it called, Dreeg. And then we have the Blizzard, which has a chance to freeze. We have OFF, which has a chance to freeze. Then we have Crab, which gives us another shield. And then we have the Circuit Breaker, Giant's Blood, to pop us back up on HP, as well as Turtle Shell to give us another damage absorption shield. So it's relatively tanky in this form. We don't have capped movement speed, but we're at 131%, and that's fine enough, I think. Our health regen per second is 693, so almost 700 health regen per second, which is not bad for a build that's going to be running away a lot. Cast speed 143, which does not matter because we are using cooldown spells, and it's just essentially damage over time. We have almost 3,000 cold damage. And as far as frostburn damage, we're at 2,700 frostburn damage with 215% duration. So that means our dots are not going to fall off when we put our dots on things. Our main damage source is Bloody Pox, which has its poison and vitality damage all converted to cold damage, and it has flat cold damage from the items and then flat poison damage from the items, so it's as well as minus cold res on it. As high as we can here. This gets reduced enemies' health as well, which means it's essentially, being a big amount of initial damage when you put it on an enemy. Then we get vitality damage, which turns to cold damage, and then minus offensive ability, which is nice. And then here we get the poison damage, which is turned to frostburn damage, as well as chance to confuse target, which helps. This gives us a little bit of movement speed minus, which is kind of okay. And then we get this for minus 75 defensive ability, so we crit more, as well as minus 25% elemental resistance. This gives us our offensive ability and some health regeneration. This gives us physical resistance and our poison resistance. We just have this mostly so that we can have the extra vitality resistance here and just to have another buff. We could probably remove this, it'd be okay, and spend those 2 points somewhere else. Max out this for Aether Res and offensive ability. This is as far as we need for this because we've pretty much got overcapped on most of our CC Res. This is the most important node. Like, you want to get this to 10 points for its 100% pass-through. 1 point in this so that it has more fragments after it splits. And then this for the massive dot damage. And then, then it's frostburn damage, and then the frostburn plus the electrocute are combined into frostburn damage, and that damage does a lot. We could put more points into mental alacrity, but we don't really need it. 15 points is the 12% cooldown reduction, so that means we'll have this up more, as well as this up more. and this gives us minus 5% freeze duration, as well as 35% minus freeze duration, and this gives us minus, what, 10% freeze duration, because we have 2 of the axes. Or no, because it's the necklace, so that's nice. So we can pretty much ensure that we can get OFF on almost everything, just for popping it off. And yeah, this is the in-game version, which shouldn't be so hard to come to. We're using the legendary Blade Master's Talisman, and you just kind of roll these. These are really easy to make now in the newest patch. So you just roll these until you get the offensive ability one. And if we get middle of the line offensive ability rolls on all of this stuff, we're still at 3,600. If we get low rolled offensive abilities, we'll still be at like 3,200 or 3,300 OA. If we get top roll, we'll be close to 4,000 OA. But anyways, I'll post the link to this in the description. Happy league start.